Hi, thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Karina Geist. I'm a flute player. I go to Mannes School of Music, which is a conservatory in New York City, and I wanted to make this video because it would have been interesting for my high school self to hear what is it like to go to school for music when I was deciding what I wanted to study. What is it actually like? What is the lifestyle like? What are the people like? What are the classes like? All of that. So first I'll start with the basics. What are the classes like? I really love telling people when they find out that I go to music school, I love telling them I don't have to take math class, I don't have to take biology class, it's great, we just do music all day. That sounds really nice, but it's actually not all fun and games. We do have to take quite a bit of classes. So we're in orchestra class, we have studio class, we have ear training, dictation, some form of music theory, music history. There's also electives like flute ensemble, various technology labs, pedagogy classes where you learn how to teach music to other students, and plenty more if you're up for that. I'll elaborate on what a few of these things are. So starting with orchestra, we have different cycles of orchestra, and since there's a lot of flute players, and same for other instruments, we get cycled onto different projects. I'm not just in all of them. That would be fun, but that would be a lot of work. So we have regular orchestra cycles where you rehearse for a few weeks and then you have a concert at the end. We also have orchestra that's part of bigger projects like pit orchestra for the silent film. I just did that a month ago. Also pit orchestra for opera, for ballet, that just happened here. And sometimes we also read through composing majors' new works because it's helpful for them to hear their work being played by actual musicians instead of robots, and then they can make changes to their score and all that. I'm not such a fan of a lot of the new music that people are composing because it's very abstract and I just don't really have the brain to appreciate that, unfortunately or fortunately. But we show up and we try to read it as best as we can so that they can get a grasp on what their composition actually sounds like in real life. Also, ear training and dictation class I mentioned. I didn't know what this was before I came here, but you're singing, you're learning how to listen to music and then be able to write it down accurately, so the rhythm and the pitches. These classes come easier to those who have perfect pitch, annoyingly, because I don't have perfect pitch and it makes me mad that I have to work harder, but it's okay. There's things that you can do if you don't have perfect pitch to be able to identify intervals, be able to write things down, and if you are a math brain person, it helps a lot because you're using a lot of your music theory knowledge. It's not just like, ooh, it's coming to me, I can tell it's an F sharp. It's not that at all. There's logic and they teach you step by step. And you do have to sing. You don't have to be a good singer at all. You just have to know what the pitch is, and you can have the shrimpiest, like worst voice ever, and often I do because I have a flute to help me with my music. I don't have to use my voice. Wind ensemble class I mentioned is like orchestra but without the strings. It meets every other week, something like that. Then chamber music, you get assigned to a group, a small ensemble. This semester I'm in a woodwind quintet, which has been great, and you find a time to rehearse with them once or twice a week. You have a rehearsal with your coach, then at the end of the semester you do a performance. So all the types of music are being addressed here, as well as well-rounding you as a musician by knowing your history, knowing your theory, analysis, knowing how to sing, knowing how to work with people, knowing how to be in a small ensemble, big ensemble, and then one-on-one with your lessons teacher to fill in all the gaps and to help you with the other projects that you're working on. There's also electives like technology classes, pedagogy where you learn how to teach. I think I already mentioned that, but I did flute ensemble for 2 years. That was fun. Then there's some silly classes, which I'll go on a rant about later. Some lifestyle classes, like whole human artists and things like that. I'll get to that later. So I think I've covered all the basics, but the beauty of this school is you can be as busy as you want to be. We're in New York City, so there's Manhattan School of Music, there's Juilliard, there's a couple others. You're surrounded by music people and just a short subway ride away from all the other great music schools. So you can be as busy as you want to be with projects. That being said, a note of caution, if you're the kind of person who is saying yes to things all the time and doing it for free, you could quickly be taken advantage of, just your time, your energy sapped. My freshman year, I came to the school with the idea of, I'm gonna say yes to everything I possibly can because wow, what a cool opportunity I've been given to be here. Why wouldn't I just do everything? Who knows what door is gonna open? And this is a great mindset, but if you're running yourself into the ground and you don't have a single hour left to practice, first of all, for all the things you said you would do, but also you don't have an hour to relax and recharge yourself, I think there's diminishing returns on that. So just a note of caution. You can be as busy as you want to be, and there's lots of opportunities, and that's great, but just because someone asks you to do something doesn't mean you should do it. I'm gonna cut myself off there on that rant. You can tell I have a lot of feelings about that. Despite all of that, I actually really like the place I chose to go to school because of one very important reason, that is my private lesson teacher. So I take lessons with Judy Mendenhall, and she is amazing. She's like a saint. I'm not even sure how I got so lucky. Not only is she a good teacher, she loves her students and she works overtime. I could go on and on about this woman. But the point is, when you are going to a music conservatory, you're probably going to start by making a connection with your private teacher. This could be via Zoom lesson, or if you're visiting the campus and you're touring colleges to see where you want to go, you make contact with them and you see if you click. You should click on a social level, but also the way that they teach you, you'll know if it's your style or not. They should be, for me, someone who's very specific about like this phrase, focus on this specific thing, and then I can isolate it and I can come back next time and be noticeably better on this one specific thing. Some teachers are more abstract, like think of a vision of birds, and that's another style that can work. So make sure you click with your teacher. Make sure it's a teacher who's pretty invested in their students. You can ask other students there, hey, what is this teacher like? Maybe you can find stuff online. I don't know. I had a Zoom lesson with my teacher, and my previous flute teacher in high school knew her because they went to New England Conservatory together. So I kind of knew some things. I knew her reputation and I knew it would be a good fit. And I also talked to her briefly. But I have learned so much in hours and hours of lesson. The most important thing is your private lesson teacher, because you spend a lot of time practicing and you need to know what to practice, how to practice, very specific things. And then the fact that you come back a week later and you're seeing how you improved from last week, and you can bring in anything from any project you're assigned to, so orchestra, chamber, any other projects you're doing. Your teacher has a pretty good grasp on how you're improving over the 4 years or 2 years. And it's how you become fundamentally a better musician. It's this one mentor who hopefully cares for you, but at least they care about the music being excellent. So you go in once a week and that's how you improve at your instrument. And it's probably the most important part of going to music school is your private teacher. So I mentioned practicing, and there's usually at least a handful of hours each day which are not scheduled, maybe more than that, but when it gets really crazy, you'll be in orchestra for a lot of hours and suddenly all your time is gone and you're like, how am I gonna have time to prepare for all the things I've been assigned to? It's not as much practice as you might think, especially if you're a type A person like me who thinks, oh, I'm supposed to be at all these classes, so I better be there on time, if not 5 minutes early, and I have to turn in every single assignment and try really hard on it and make sure I get all the things on my to-do list done. And also, if you live off campus, or even if you don't, life stuff can get in the way, like just commuting to school or grocery shopping, and there's a lot of things that need to be done in a day. Very quickly your practice time could dwindle down to less than you thought, which is shocking. When I got here freshman year, I had a goal of I'm gonna practice a certain number of hours a day. I won't say how much because I feel like people have opinions on it. But that very quickly did not happen unless I stayed at school until late and then just burned out like immediately, because there's so many things you have to show up to, just silly classes like I talked about. And the funny thing is that the best musicians understand that they should be half-assing the stuff that's obviously silly. Like, they won't show up to every Copa core class, and they won't turn in if they don't understand an assignment, they'll just try their best and then turn it in. But they spend their time doing what they're actually here for, which is practicing and then becoming an amazing musician. And it can be kind of an internal struggle when you feel like, why wouldn't I do all of these things that I'm signed up for? But I'm trying, this is me talking to me here, I'm trying to discern, okay, I know these things aren't actually valuable. How can I do less of them so that I have time to practice? Because there's actually less time in the day than you might think. And the last thing I'll say on that is, you need to know what you need to do to be okay as a human. So I need to have a certain amount of downtime, and I need to go to the gym, and I need to eat healthy, which means I need to grocery shop and I need to cook. So I've always been pretty good about making time for, especially going to the gym. If you looked at my schedule, you might be like, you're a classical musician, why would you go to the gym here instead of just practicing? But I know about myself that if I don't do that, just mentally, I'm gonna get less done in the music department as well. So let's say you go to music school. It's not gonna be like you think, like as far as the balance of practicing and classes that are important and life stuff. Like, even just commuting to school takes a long time for some people who live further away. I can't imagine. But the balance is hard to strike, and you need to evaluate what's actually important, and don't say yes to too many things because you have a limited resource, which is yourself and your time and your mental bandwidth. And then it's a diminishing return when you say yes to too much and you try too hard on things that don't matter. So I've talked about what classes are like and a bit about what practicing schedule is like, what's most important in my opinion and all that. I want to talk a bit about what the social life is like, or rather what it's not like. So there are different factions of the student body at my school. So we're the College of Performing Arts. I'm specifically at Manus, which is the music conservatory part, but there's also drama students and there's jazz students. And then there's the new school, because we're Manus at the new school, and the new school is regular classes like liberal arts, and there's fashion and stuff like that. But I only ever see people who are in my specific discipline day to day. I don't have classes with jazz people or drama people, and maybe because it's a New York City campus, maybe this is different for other schools. We don't have a communal dining area or much of a sense of community at all. So as far as social life, you see people in classes and then people run off to their practice rooms. And unless you're a person who's pretty outgoing and hangs out around campus and just eats and chills and sees, oh, there's a person, let me talk to them. If you're a person who's like, oh, I live off campus, so when I'm done with class, I'm gonna go home. Social life doesn't really happen, especially not between disciplines. Like, I never see a drama person hanging out with a jazz person. You don't align. Like, the buildings are spread out across campus and we don't eat together. So the social fabric is thin. Like, you might see some people in the oboe studio being friends with each other, but even the flute studio, we don't see each other unless it's flute studio class, which is maybe every 2 weeks, something like that. And even then, you're sitting watching the other person play, so you're not talking much. So I find that a social life is challenging. I also find that the composing students seem to do better at this. They're just more social, and I see them hanging out together. But other than that, I feel like it's a building of strangers, even within studios, which is kind of sad. So the social life is hard. Also, the romantic life is hard. This is not a joke, but at my school, it's an art school. There are not very many heterosexual males, and if there are, they get snatched up very quickly. So I've given up here about possibly having a relationship or anything. Not that it was ever a huge priority, But it is kind of a thing about college that you do gravitate towards people, friends, and relationships because you've been sorted into this big pond of people with your interests who are similarly good at school and driven and all that. And that I kind of hoped it would be like that here, but because of the demographics and because of the way our campus is really fragmented, maybe because of the way that classical musicians are, they tend to be isolated and all that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but relationships, friendships, they don't just happen, at least not for me, and I would say not for other people as easy as it might happen at a regular college campus. Another thing that I'll mention is that nobody asks you how much you practice. The expectation is that you'll show up to your lessons and your rehearsals being prepared, which means knowing the music, not being lost. So you looked at it ahead of time, you're prepared. You know, if you're an orchestra, you know that when you're counting rests, you are gonna come in after the bassoons play or something like that. So you're never lost, you're professional. You show up to your lessons, you have at least an hour or so of music to be able to work on, which isn't that much music because your teacher will get really detailed into small sections of it. And you're a quick learner. Anything anyone assigns to you, you say okay and you learn it. There's no like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then it becomes not a big deal to learn new music in a quick turnaround. But no one's gonna be like, where's your spreadsheet for practicing? I need to see evidence that you practice insert number here hours a day. I mean, I feel a little bit weird about saying how much I practice because I don't want to be compared to other people, but what people are really comparing is your performance. And I've heard people say that everything you do at school all day long is an audition for your peers. So if you show up to a rehearsal and you don't know what you're doing, like you didn't look at it and it's very clear that you're unprepared, they're all thinking, oh, if I ever have a future project and I need a clarinet player, I'm not gonna ask them because they're not doing a good job. It's not about how much that person practiced. It's not even about who is the best clarinet player. It's just about who's the most professional, who took the time to be prepared for this rehearsal. And I mean, maybe it took one person 2 hours to prepare for orchestra, but it took another person like 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you took the time to put yourself together and to show up and to do the job that you were supposed to do, and everybody's judging you for that. Your teacher, my teacher, doesn't ask me how much I practice. I make sure I have something to bring in every week, and then I fit in practice wherever I can around my rehearsals and my other responsibilities in order to feel like I've made progress on it or bring something new in to work on the next time. Because I don't want to waste my teacher's time. Also, it's a mutual respect thing. Your teacher can see your effort. Everyone lies about how much they practice. I think everybody inflates it. If you need extra practice, there's the weekends where people tend to cram things in, but it's pretty busy, and just do the best that you can, and it's expected that you show up to things prepared. If you get assigned to something, you show up prepared. So I want to end by talking about what the energy is like on campus, what people are talking about, how they're feeling, that kind of thing. And when you think of Juilliard or music conservatoire, it sounds very exciting and flashy, and it's really not. It's a job just like anything else, just like studying anything else. We all chase the high of performance, and when you get off stage and your adrenaline is going and you feel really happy with how it went and you're remembering the lights and how focused you were on this very specific thing that you were doing, and you executed it properly and musically, and you were in the moment and all that. And it's a wonderful feeling. That's at least what I chase. I love performing. And so there's definitely moments like that, and that's why we do it. But it's a labor of love. So people aren't baseline happy. I'm not sure how different this is to other college students, but I wrote down here that people are happy when they get off stage from a good performance and are high on adrenaline. That's the feeling we chase. But the day-to-day meetings in the hallway feel tired. People are exhausted, complaining. not wanting to be at concerts because it's late at night, and generally are trying to figure out how to do things the best that they can. It's funny because we pick this career and imagine it should be exciting, but in reality, everyone is really ready to go home after the performance. Maybe it's a play to be relatable, or it's about a specific performance which someone is not happy about doing and it's mandatory. But it's funny how all of us are doing the thing we claim to want to do the most in the entire world, but we bitch like a sailor. I think that's funny but true. That we're so lucky we get to be at these performances, but everyone's talking about how much they want to go home and watch anime. And everyone's tired and not sleeping and saying that they have to finish their composition by midnight and all that. It's also a common trope to say that you're depressed, and I do notice that people have a lot of unhealthy habits. Going to the gym isn't really a thing that people talk about, so I don't know if anyone does that. Especially the pianists, they just live and die in the practice rooms and they don't leave, and they just eat their ramen and then they practice and then they eat some more ramen. But I get the feeling that people are really tired and they're not taking care of themselves physically. Like maybe they're not taking breaks either, but definitely physically they're neglecting their sleep. And it's kind of like haha funny, we're all depressed and tired and sad, and I'm not getting the other side of their life in that moment where I get to hear how awesome their performance was and how fulfilled they are on a deeper level. So hopefully they have that as well. But yeah, it's definitely a labor of love, and in the hallways on a Monday, everyone is kind of like taking a breath in the corner, which is definitely not highlighted when you think about, ooh, they go to Juilliard, ooh, a conservatory. So I figured it's important to mention that here. There's also a lingering fear about what happens when we graduate. At least with school, it's tiring and it's constant, where you have to be ready for your lesson all the time and you're assigned to all this random stuff and you better be prepared for it. But the structure that's there it makes you feel like everything's okay. And it's a leap of faith when you graduate from school, and assuming you can't just get an orchestra job, which are, if you don't know, are very competitive, and we would love to get an orchestra job, most people. Suddenly you're networking and you are fighting for yourself to make a living, hopefully in your desired field, or even working at Trader Joe's so that you have time to practice and hopefully have a career someday. So this is definitely a feeling that's sort of in the air that most people don't want to talk about, but everyone definitely knows. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm sure I missed a million things, but I think this would be helpful to my high school self when I was thinking about going to school for music. Just on a factual level, what are the classes like? And on a spiritual level, what are the people like? What is the feeling like? You can let me know in the comments what I forgot and if there's any questions that I can answer. But I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know if there's anything that I missed. I'll be checking the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.